Is that an X? Is that an O? XO Sports Talk? Yeah, let's go.
I got my swag back.
Come on. Somebody give me something. Come on, now.
I'll give you swag.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Look at that.
Oh, welcome to another edition of XO Sports Talk, episode 72. We're missing tonight Malcolm and Emerson, both doing the grind, working the night shift.
And then the time. The man.
Working for the man.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be funny. Emerson and Malcolm and Drag doing Tina Turner.
All right, tell them. Make the money. Don't let the money make you.
That's it.
Oh, my goodness. Terry, tell them about the subscribe button, please.
XO Sports Talk would like to welcome everybody to tonight's show. We want to thank all our viewers and subscribers for their support. If you're watching or listening in for the first time, the show is also streaming on all your favorite podcast platforms. To stay up to date with our latest videos, the latest news and rumors going on in the world of sports, hit that subscribe button, press the like button, and tap that notification bell. And just one more thing we need you to do is click that share button.
Yes.
And as always, feel free to join in on the live chat where you can post your comments, or you can call in to tonight's show at 475-221-5006.
Thank you, T. I said to Brian, tell us about the people that are watching our shows from different countries. We have Guam, Russia, Canada, India, South Africa, Costa Rica, and Singapore. We'd like to thank everybody for supporting our show here at XO Sports Talk.
Yes, indeed. We would like to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully we
Yes,
can entertain you.
Are you not entertained?
I was about to steal that.
Yeah, that's what I got it, bro.
Russell Crowe.
Oh, Gladiator.
Gladiator. That was an
Epic
all-time
movie.
great.
Yeah.
Hmm?
A very good movie.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Classic.
Guys, the college football rankings. In the AP, we have at number 10, USC, number 9, Oklahoma State, number 8, Oregon, number 7, TCU. Like Wall Street,
Mm-hmm.
you have Alabama at 6, number 5, Clemson, number 4, Michigan, number 3, Tennessee, number 2, Ohio State, and at number 1 in the AP, you have Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, in the coaches, you have at number 10, Wake Forest. Number 9, Oklahoma State. Number 8, Oregon. Number 7, TCU. Number 6, Alabama. Number 5, Clemson. And number 4, Michigan. And then number 3, you have Tennessee. And number 2, you have Ohio State. And still at number 1, Georgia. Now, 43 coaches picked Georgia to be number 1. 17 coaches picked Ohio State to be number one. 3 coaches wanted Tennessee, number 3 Tennessee to be number one. And Michigan still gets 1 vote that they should be number one. And that's probably from Jim Harbaugh.
Hey, Aaron, on that coaches poll, did they have Oregon up there? On the coaches poll?
They have Oregon at number 8.
Okay. I'm expecting them to climb over Bama, actually.
No.
All right. Well,
Because the reason why Oregon is at number 8 and they're 6-1.
I'm expecting Bama to lose another game. I'm not saying this week, but I'm expecting them to lose another game.
Well, here's the kicker. If Bama loses another game, Bama might be out of the playoffs. But
no, they ain't gonna do
I
that.
see Michigan, and here's the kicker. Michigan still has to play Ohio State.
Yeah, they do.
Yep.
And I tell you what, they better not take their game again against Michigan State. This could be that game that comes back to haunt them.
Exactly.
It's that in-state rivalry game, and they could be looking ahead to Ohio State, and this could hurt them. But I expect Jim Harbaugh to have them focused. So
yeah.
And Michigan State is not in the top 25 in the AP or the coaches. So if Michigan mess around and lose to Michigan State, they will be out.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
And then if they play Ohio State and they lose, kiss the baby.
Kiss the baby goodbye.
They will be done. But Alabama could be done also if they lose to Georgia. And I see that. But then again, Tennessee may face Georgia.
Yeah.
Alabama could be in a lot of trouble.
Like I said, I expect them to lose another game, but I don't see them not being in the playoffs. They'll find a way to get them in there.
You know what? That may be hard because no Alabama, Clemson is still, you can still market Clemson. People will still watch to see Georgia.
Yep.
And people will watch to see Tennessee.
Yeah.
So no year without Alabama, people will get over it. Simple as that.
Sabian won't, but
well
yeah, no.
He can go hang out with the Aflac duck. I mean, what he likes and what he thinks.
I want to give a shout out to Coach Prime, Jackson State.
Yeah.
Off to their first 7-0 start since what? It's been like 40 years. So
yeah. Coach Prime. Yeah.
I'm happy for Dion, but the bottom line is this.
What?
You got to win the championship.
Oh.
Bottom line.
Well, yeah, but you got him on the map.
He's on the map, but now bring him home.
Okay, yeah.
Because if you don't lose, that means you're still on the map and you're lost.
Yeah.
He's got to bring home the bacon. And I'm really, I'm really proud of what Deion Sanders is doing, because he could have stayed with the NFL Network, made his money, and just kept on going about life. But the impact that he's going to make on the young kids' lives that come through the college is going to last with those kids for a lifetime. And he will help other kids down the road. So I really commend him, because I don't think I would have the patience.
And to bring, enlightenment for the NFL, for them to start scouting some of these teams and these players getting recognition.
And you know what would be nice too? If the NFL would start showing a lot more games on the NFL Network of these smaller colleges.
Yeah.
Good point.
I think ESPN is I think it's maybe ESPN 3 is showing Southern at Jackson State this Saturday, that's a big rivalry. I mean, that rivalry is so big it goes down to the marching bands.
Oh yeah.
It's that big of a rivalry. So
that's the show right there.
Yeah. Yep.
Get your steps on. Yeah.
Because I mean, what does the NFL really have to show on Saturday?
That's a good point, man. Yeah.
I'm glad I made a good point with you two, because that is a difficult job.
Put it out there. I want a piece of the pie.
Yeah. Major League Baseball playoffs. Phillies beat the Padres. Astros beat the Yankees. Terry, what did you see in that game with the Phillies beating the Padres?
Well, Bryce Harper was a difference maker, not only in Game 5, but also in the series. I think he had a 2-run homer in the 8th inning of Game 5 to put the Phillies up by one run, and then they eventually beat the Padres 4-3. He's hot right now. He's living up to his name and all the hype that he came into the league with. I think he has 5 home runs in the postseason. His batting average right now is .419, and forget what his on base percentage is, but it's really high. So, Bryce Harper, he's the key. He'll be the key for them entering into the World Series too.
Yeah.
Brian.
I thought I didn't see Philly getting there like the way that they did. I thought the Padres, they would find a way to win. I thought, honestly, to be speaking, I thought Padres had the better team lineup wise, but Philly, they grinded out. Not only grinded out, as Terry said, Bryce has been hot and carrying that team along with some of the other players. And to think about when Bryce Harper came into the league, that's all you heard was that this kid was that dude. And you really didn't get to see much of it. You seen the numbers he put up, but the team itself, when he played for the Nationals, it just didn't correlate with the team record. But now on Philly, they're hot. I'll make my prediction in the next segment of that, but it's good to see, because I know I have a fan, a coworker who's a Philly fan, and he's loving it right now. The Eagles is hot. He's a Sixer fan. I don't know about that part, but yeah. So it's good to see, though.
That's the trifecta. I'm happy for the Phillies. The Padres, boy, that was a cocky, arrogant team. But they got kicked off the mountain, and Phillies looking down on them, eating a Philly cheesesteak, and I'm happy for the Phillies. So sad, too bad for Joe Girardi. His military style of managing cost him his job because he didn't trust the younger players. The interim manager stepped in and said, look, I trust you guys. Go out there and play ball.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it's all about.
Just forget about the analytics. Going through, it says you can't hit, you can't hit third in the lineup, or you can't hit this, so I got to put somebody up. He said, forget this. Just go play.
Just go play. That's it.
And click, it worked. And they, I would have put my lunch money on the Padres to win, but I'm glad that the Philadelphia Phillies won. Mm-hmm. And they're going to go off to face the Astros. But Terry, damn, they just took a broom. They didn't even take a broom. They just told the Yankees, walk into that room. And then close the door.
Yeah.
But it's dark in here. You'll be all right. And they left them.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Nowadays they call that timeout. You got put in timeout.
Yeah, that's all you call it now, yo.
Yeah. It wasn't a surprise to me. Well, I'll say this. I didn't expect the Yankees to get swept. It wasn't a surprise that the Yankees lost this series. I thought they had a shot in game 4. They got off to a good start, got out to an early 3-zip lead. But I don't know. Something happened with Cortez. I think they said it was a groin injury. What was that? In like the 3rd inning?
Yeah.
You could see he just didn't have that pop in his fastball. I knew Boone came out and checked on him, and he said he was good, but I was surprised that Boone didn't pull him, given that this was a must-win game for the Yankees. And then after that, Cortez gave up, a 3-run homer to Jeremy Pena. So, and that very well right there could cost Boone his job. We'll see how that plays out. But
the owner's already saying that Boone will be back next year. He supports him.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't agree with it.
That's good.
Yeah.
But like I said, I was just surprised that he didn't, in a must-win game, he didn't pull him, and then he took the chance. But hey, that's what we just talked about. You let your guys play. You believe in them. But yeah, I mean, also going into the series, the question for me was the Yankees' consistency, or should I say inconsistency. They showed it early on in the season. They were hot, then they kind of fell off, and you saw that inconsistency play out until the playoffs. And that was my one worry for them coming into this series. Were they going to be consistent? Because basically, to beat the Astros, you have to play perfect baseball. And they just didn't do it. And they're in timeout right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel for you, man, but there's always next year.
Next year.
Yeah. Get off the stage. Astros and the Yankees.
Oh, well, I seen it and I loved it. Every minute of it. I loved it. But the Yankees, we had talked about it. This was at the All-Star break, and we was like, did we think the moves messed up the chemistry? And to me, I thought it did in some form of way. I thought it did because they was already rolling. I didn't think they really needed to do anything else. But, Yankees feel they need all-stars at every position. And sometimes that's not just the way to go. But to me, it was like Swiss, well, people who don't know, Swiss Beats had an album called One Man Band. And to me, that's what the Yankees were. To me, it was Judge, and sometimes somebody would get hot, but it was all Judge. And then when that kind of went out a little bit or got lukewarm, it was like somebody else couldn't carry the torch, and it came back and caught you, to me. But am I disappointed? No, I'm not. I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
You better pay that, man.
Ooh, that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, we'll get on that. Well, I'll say this in Astros, congratulations. Mm-hmm. You put a whooping on them, as far as I'm concerned. You put a whooping on them, and I can't say, well, this and that. No, the product that the Yankees put out there wasn't good enough to beat the Astros. They were making countless errors in the game with some of the young kids out there, which is, you do that in game 1. Okay. Game 2, no excuses. 3, no excuses. 4, you need to go home. Just pack it up and just go. So I'm happy for the Astros, and though I can't stand them, but hey, as they say, they're the better man. Guys, who will win the World Series? Terry, Phillies or Astros?
Astros are the favorite to win it, but I'm gonna go against the grain and I'm gonna pick the Phillies. I think Bryce Harper is gonna show up big in this series. But it just like Brian mentioned, it just can't be him. Like I said, you got to play perfect baseball, and they have to do that, and they have to steal one, they have to steal a game in Houston to even have a chance. But I'm gonna go Astros.
Brian.
And
Philly. Sorry,
you taking Philly?
yeah, I'm taking Philly.
Yeah.
Okay, he's like that Jerome Bennett's towing course, man. I call heads.
Tails.
Don't know who you got. So both teams are hot, but I'm gonna go with the Astros. I think I like their pitching rotation a little better, but I would not be surprised if Philly was to squeak out the series on that. But I think the first two games are pivotal. As Terry said, I think they need to get one in Houston to really make this a series, because I think if they get swept in two, I don't think they'll get swept, but I think the series might be over if they go 2-0 or go down 2-0. But so I'm going to take the Astros. I like that. Yeah, I'll go with that. Who you got here?
Going with, I hate to say this, I'm going with the Astros. The Astros have a better bullpen, and I think the Cinderella for the Phillies will be over.
Well, and T, if the Philly does win, since you're the only one, if we do, we'll go get that $100 steak and cheese. Yeah, and split it 3 ways too.
Yeah,
I'm not sharing nothing. I'm gonna get my own.
You want your own $100 sub, huh?
Yeah.
You know what? Let's do this.
What's up?
If the Astros win, we go down to Philly, and Terry buys us the subs. If the Phillies win, we go down there, and Terry buys us the subs.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
When he said it first, I was like, "What?"
Adding up here. Something's not adding up here.
I was like, "What?" I was like,
But
"Okay."
I think we should get the Exo Sports guys, if we can ever get Emerson and Malcolm away from work, and drive down there and have. I'm not splitting nothing. I'm not splitting nothing with nobody.
You're a stingy guy, man.
Yeah.
I'm not stingy.
I ain't playing. No, I ain't sure.
Make it out of Philly.
The only problem is Emerson cannot eat it.
He can't eat steak and cheese?
He can. Oh, are you kidding me? Emerson can eat a cow.
That's all. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you doing? Allergic to what?
Can't eat shellfish.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
lobster on, so he can get his lobster taken off. But I'm going to eat mine, because I definitely, I may have to work some overtime, sell some bootleg Girl Scout cookies to get the $100, but I'm going to do it. And so I think that'd be kind of cool that we guys do that. But
the guy who can't eat
back to the Astros, I want to see Dusty Baker win it at 73 years old. And one of the reasons why is I'm sick and tired of analyticals playing in baseball. Oh, you got to play. This guy's got to hit because of the percentage. No. Sometimes you can just throw that out the window, and you got to go by your gut, because your gut on making that decision is still analytical 50-50. Mm-hmm. It might work. It might not work. Bottom line. But you have more people with college degrees that are mathematicians getting involved. And okay, if that's the case, then everybody in baseball that's dealing with the analyticals, their team would be great. but you have an old-fashioned scout that's still down there looking at that player to see if a player is good or if he's bad. So save it. I want to see Dusty Baker win the World Series to redeem himself for letting his son go out onto the field and almost got crushed by JT Snow.
Forget that. Redeem himself for Barry Bonds not getting a ring.
Oh,
that's another story.
Yeah,
another day.
You check out the picture. I'm gonna take out the picture, and they lost. Yeah, I never forgot
I got
that.
one for you guys.
What's
I'm gonna
up?
throw you a slider.
Sam Malone.
Yep, Sam Malone from
Cheers, slider of death. Yeah,
yeah, couldn't pitch to save his life in the minors. Guys, do you see Aaron Judge going back to the Yankees? If not, where do you see him going? Terry.
Before I answer that, I just want to give a shout out to Debbie Gamble and Phil in the chat. Debbie says, Aaron, you got to share with the family. You got to share that steak and cheese with the family. And she says you have to pay too. So now that I got that out the way.
Yeah.
My feelings are, if you're the Yankees, you got to pay the man. That's your revenue. That's what's bringing people in the ballpark, putting butts in the seats. Your jersey sales, you can't let him go. He's earned it. If he were to go somewhere, I see him going. I could see him going to the Dodgers.
Okay, so he goes to the Dodgers, Terry, and how much do you give him?
Gotta go with what the market says. What the market says.
Yeah, minimum. I mean, you're in that 450, 400, maybe 500 million range.
Okay, give me a number.
450.
Okay, $450.
Million.
450,000.
Oh man, we talking professional athletes.
Stay out of this, Brian.
Yeah, man, we're talking baseball, man. We're talking baseball. We're not talking us going.
So you're talking $450 million.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, Brian. How much would you give him, and where do you see him going?
Do I have to pick just one? Can I get two?
No, one.
Oh, you stingy.
Yeah, stingy like the sub.
As I said this before, I don't think Boston will be in the mix. Y'all gonna shoot. I'm gonna go with. I think Anaheim is gonna be the sleeper to kind of sneak in there, believe it or not. So I just think it'll be Anaheim because they have Pujols coming off the books. Well, that's a lot of money they'll be able to free up. Got Ohtani.
So how much do you give him?
Like he said, So imagine this. Just imagine having both of them on the same team, Ohtani and him. So that's two bats, let alone the pitching. So, but he's getting. T said what you say, 450?
Yeah.
475.
And what's the center fielder for Anaheim?
Trout.
So imagine that lineup.
Okay.
Better pay the man. Yankees better pay the man.
Yeah. That's the Yankees' fault.
Trout. I don't know, because that should be interesting. Because Trout contract ends in 2031.
Yeah, he got a long contract.
Yeah.
2030, he will be making $35 million. And he'll be 38, 36.
That's
$38 million. So now you got Ohtani at $300 million. So you have the breakdown of Trout going like this. 2023, Trout will make $35 million. 2024, $35 million. 25, 35. Wow, they really love the number 35. All the 35 million each year, all the way to 2030. So
that's why it's
that
good
means
to play baseball.
Yep, I wish I. Yeah.
Learn how to hit a curveball.
So you're looking at almost giving, and when he signed that contract, it was for $500 million.
That was Trout.
And Trout.
Yep.
So he's getting $35 million a year at $500 million. So you will have $300 million in Ohtani. You'll have about $300 million in Trout. And now you're adding on $500 million for Albert Pujols. I mean, not Albert Pujols, Aaron Judge.
What?
Just think of the revenue you're gonna get back.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't see him going to the Anaheim Angels.
Who you think? Who you think?
I see him going to the Dodgers.
All right. Their payroll is pretty expensive too. So
it is.
So
I don't think. But the thing about it is, the Dodgers now are acting like what the Lakers used to be. They're the Showtime of baseball out there.
Well, can I ask you this though? Do the Dodgers need Judge? They won 111 games. So do they?
They got an all-star game in my opinion.
Exactly.
All-star team. Sorry.
You have an all-star team, but you have big baseball fans out in California.
Yeah.
And you have beautiful weather out there. The only problem that you got out there in California is a high state income tax.
But the sun shines. It never rains.
Yeah, it never rains, but until you go to pay the taxes, then it's like a thunderstorm.
Give me $500 million.
500.
But I see the Dodgers doing it. Guys, NBA locker talk around the bases, around the hoop, I'm sorry.
Around the hoop.
Yeah.
The Lakers are playing bad. Heat is playing bad. And the Nets are playing bad. Guys, which team do you think will have the worst record at the NBA All-Star break? Terry.
I'm going to say the Lakers will. They just can't put the ball in the ocean right now. They just can't shoot. And this is a team with LeBron and Anthony Davis on their team. And, I watched the game last night. The man can't do any more than what he's doing. I saw him give out some beautiful passes. Couple of them in traffic, and guys were wide open. They just couldn't knock down shots. They just don't look good right now. I don't see them improving anytime soon, unless they can move Russell Westbrook, and I don't even think that's enough. I don't even think they can move him. At least I don't see it. They're in trouble. It's bad. It's bad. I mean, it's just sad to see. I'll just say this. I think that, you look at Denver, who's got Jamal Murray back, and they showed last night, and this was without Michael Porter on the floor, that they're in the mix to be a contender in the playoffs. You look at Portland, Dame Lillard is back. They look like they could get in. So the Lakers could be on the outside looking in this year, which is just sad. I'm not a Laker fan, but as an organization, their history, that's sad. Especially with two, let's say two all-star players, and one of those players being first ballot Hall of Famer. It's just bad.
Brian.
With the teams that you mentioned, and I'm going to break this up because me and T had mentioned this before, and when we had our production meeting, and I think you stepped away for a minute. We was going to break it up and like as in by Christmas break instead of going to the All-Star because the All-Star is a little long. But to me, I was saying worst case scenario, worst record out of those three teams, I think will be. It may be. This is gonna be hard for people to believe, but I think it might be the Nets, man. Even bad as the Lakers are playing, the Nets, one, they can't stop anybody still, and the Ben Simmons thing, I can't reiterate this enough. Playing 4-on-5, you're not gonna win a lot of games that way because they are not playing Ben Simmons at all. There's no lane for people to drive. Everything is on the jump shot. KD, Kyrie, but my main concern is KD already playing a lot of minutes and season's just getting started. So I'm looking at them. The game that they did win was a squeaker and they won that one. But with the Lakers, they got, I don't even know. I don't even think there's a quick fix for them. Even a trade. I know Emerson talked about getting Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, and I was like, and I still don't think you'll be, best case scenario, you might be a play-in team because that's how far the West has gotten. Your young teams are better, they quicker. The Lakers still want to run, they don't want to slow the pace down, and it's a bad mix for them. But out of those teams you said, just going to All-Star break, we'll keep count of this. We'll have the worst record or wins loss from now to December. Yeah, Christmas.
I see what you're saying. I think it's going to be the Lakers. I think there are still some bad teams in the East that the Nets can win a few games. But in the West, I think the Lakers are slow, old, and they're not a good team.
Nope.
And we were talking about this in the summertime, and I couldn't get Emerson to stop because I said they need to just go ahead and cut bait. They should have just got rid of LeBron. They should have just got rid of Davis. Davis is too injury prone. LeBron is old, and people don't want to let it go, that don't want to face facts that he is old. So what good is having him and you're not going anywhere? Get your draft picks. You won a championship with him. He came in here and did what he had to do. Cut bait. If you see the tread is wearing on the tire, you don't plan a long trip to go from Boston to Texas. Go get a new tire and go get a younger player. The Lakers, stop messing around with LeBron. He brought you the NBA championship. Good day, good night, goodbye.
Preach.
Yeah, just put the money in the slot.
And I don't know about that game last night with Lakers played Denver, man, and the Joker was looking like a dealer out there, man. Every time Anthony Davis, he was, you got 18, I got 19. You got 19, I got 21. He was serving them up.
Yeah.
And Anthony Davis, all of a sudden you saw his back. And I was like, look at this. I said it was sad. A young man, strong, athletic, and he's like an old man who need a walker right now. Forget it.
Yeah, but I'm going to say it's a little bit different now because you have these kids who are now NBA. I'll say these NBA players who were once kids. They're playing a lot more basketball than say back in the 90s and 2000s. I mean, they're playing basketball AAU year round.
Yeah.
So that's something that eventually they're going to have to look at, throughout high school, even when they're in middle school. They might have to tone back the amount of games that they play when they're young, because I think that's some of the effects that's taking place with someone like an Anthony Davis. He's got a lot of miles on him. He's not that, and age-wise, he's not that old, but he's got a lot of miles on him basketball-wise.
Yeah. No, I'll say on that though, T. I think a little bit of workout regimen might be helpful for him a little bit. Remember, this is the same guy who said he ain't touch a basketball for like 2 months or something. Like, that wasn't good. But
it's surprising because you're on a team with LeBron who takes care of his body religiously. So you would think that would kind of carry over, but
that's all about how bad you want it.
I think it would be hard to do that, T, because everybody's making money with these little pop basketball camps. Everybody's making money. And so a young kid is like this. Yeah, sure, I'm going to play. I'm young. I want to have fun. I'm competing, not realizing you're putting mileage on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I would say and reflect to that is that they're coming out the league early, though. They're not staying 4 years. And most of them, if you're top 10, they only stay in a year. Now, matter of fact, now that they got the G League, or what is that, the Ignite League, or they ain't even going to college, some of them.
Yeah. But I still think if you look at the errors, I would say the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, they didn't have, I would say, basketball mileage. The players didn't have as much as the players do today. Yeah. Also too, I think whatever it is with big men, they're just more injury prone than say your guards or your small forwards for whatever reason.
Yeah. A lot of wear and tear on the body. Yeah.
And guys, moving over to the NFL, Jamar Chase is not expected to play Monday night versus the Browns. They believe that the the Cincinnati Bengals is going to place him on the IR, injured reserve, because of his hip of a tackle that he received Sunday. This could be extremely bad for this young man. We hope that he can rest his body and heal his hip, because that is not a good injury to have, especially like a speedster like him. We wish him nothing but the best and a speedy recovery. Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 3-4. I feel good about that. How about you, T?
This is what my fear was. Why I felt like he should have just retired last year. Now you have the critics saying, "Oh, he should retire. The game is past him. This and that." Also, Emerson has gone on record and said that Brady's going to retire before the season is over. Even with all that, right, they're still leading their division. They're tied with the Falcons. Brady's missed training camp. They're just not clicking right now. But I see them at least winning their division. But I just, like I said, I'm at this point, I wish Brady would have retired because this is what I did not want to happen. The birds chirping, the critics. He should just retire. Like, he had nothing to prove, in my opinion, but, you know, apparently he feels otherwise. So we'll see how it plays out.
Okay. Brian.
And I think they're a little off step right now. And being off step, you can just see players are dropping passes. Pass protection is just not there. Brady's just checking down a lot sooner. He's not trying. I don't know if he doesn't want to get hit, but he seemed like he's checking the ball down a lot quicker than holding on to the ball. But in all, as I said, retirement, I don't think so at this junction. I don't see him bailing out because they're right there in the thick of things. If the team, that division is pretty weak, so they can still make a run. Everything I do is put 2-3 games together in a row, and they'll be right there. So I don't see like what Emerson was saying. I can see it from the point of spect of everything that's going on, but I don't think he'll be retiring mid-season. But
nobody never sees what's going on and what Emerson sees because we never try to look. No, to me, football is definitely a team sport. And you have the offensive guys and you got the defensive guys. Mm-hmm. The quarterback is the leader of the team. And when the leader of the team is not in training camp, the leader of the team is going to a wedding while everybody's prepping for the game. And then the leader of the team is yelling at guys on the sidelines. All of a sudden, they begin to go, you know what? You're full of it. And they just click you out. They don't want to hear what you have to say. Because if you're the leader, you're going to be with your guys. You can't have one foot out the door and then say, okay, I'm ready to play today. You've got to be there. And if you're not there, you're wasting time. And I think he's wasting time with the Bucks. He's not going to leave because that means he's a quitter. And he's not going to put that on his stamp.
That's what I said.
On his legacy.
Yeah, I don't see that. Bill said Brady's over. He said it's over for him.
But the kicker is this. If another team looks for Brady and they got a real good offensive line and a good team, I see Brady coming back next year. Yeah. For the simple fact, he's not going to want to leave with a losing season under his belt. But to be continued.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, though. Do you think Brady knew the writing was on the wall with this team beforehand with the speculation of him trying to get his way to Miami?
I think what Brady is doing is this. He doesn't want to go home. When we go to work every day, like Robert De Niro said in Bronx Tale, the working man. And then the little boy said, the working man's a sucker, Pop. And when you're Brady, everybody's got a microphone in his face. He's got endorsements in his face because he's a football guy. He comes home and he says, honey, I can't pick up the kids right now. I got to study. I got to prepare for the game. But when you're no longer playing, hey, we got a PTA meeting tonight at 8:00. Ugh. Hey, you're not doing nothing. Go pick up the kids. Ugh. Hey, could you run by the grocery store and get something?
You saying real life comes at you?
You're now a regular Joe. You're not the working man, but you're a regular Joe. And that is not a good thing. And just think about when he goes into broadcasting. You're a broadcaster. Yeah, you got the title of Tom Brady, but guess what? You're not a football player anymore. You're a retired football player. I don't want to beat that drum into the ground. But guys, one thing I would like to say is congratulations to the Seahawks. Geno Smith is playing pretty good football right now. But guys, did you expect the Jets, Jets, to be 5-2? Terry?
You know what? I'll say they're playing how I thought they would be playing. They got off to a rocky start, but it looks like all they needed was Zach Wilson to come back. I felt like their new coach, Robert Saleh, who came from the 49ers organization, he would get them, he would have them playing hard, good, sound football, and that's what they're doing right now. For them to be 5-2, I didn't really see it. I thought maybe they'd be around 500 football, but Zach Wilson was the key, because once he came back, they just seemed like they flipped the switch. So, and you could tell when they play, they play hard. They're playing hard for their coach. So kudos to them.
Brian.
Yeah, I'm glad to see them. Actually, if you guys remember, I thought I picked the Jets last year as my sleeper team. And I said I thought they were going to do it, but they fizzled out and it was just a disaster year. But I like Zach Wilson. I like him. They did excellent in the draft that they did this past draft. They're playing hard for the coach, and to me, the corner that they picked up, Gardner, he just brings that swag, that New York swag that it seemed like the whole team and defense just they just believe. And it's almost like that old saying that Herm Edwards said is, you make some stew, you throw the water in there, you put the chicken in there, you start boiling it. It ain't got no flavor in it, but as soon as you start throwing in that seasoning, and the whole place starts to get the aroma and everything starts smelling good. And that's what Herm said, and that was something, and that's what's going on with the Jets. They smelling it, and it's like, oh, this smells good. And they coming out playing hard. So I'm happy to see them. I'm happy for New York and in general. It's been a while for the Jets. It's been a while for them to take the bags off the heads and be proud, So I'm happy.
I'm happy for the Jets, even though they did beat Pittsburgh this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm happy for that organization. You know what? I'm happy for the Jet fans, because it's got to be tough turning on the television every Sunday and seeing a train wreck.
Yeah.
So that's got to be a miserable feeling. But guys,
what was the Jets owner that said I just want to win? Ross.
Oh,
was it
man.
Ross?
No.
What was his name?
Hess.
Hess.
Leon Hess.
Hess.
Yeah.
He was the Jets and the Jets owner, and he said, I'm 82 years old. I want to win now. And when Jerry Jones came on the scene, all the owners had an agreement that, they share money and stuff, revenue. And so Jerry Jones said, yeah, I'm not sharing. If I get something on the side, I'm not sharing it with nobody. And Leon Hess went up to Jerry Jones. Why can't you be a team player? And it was interesting because here in the United States, around Christmas time, you would see what they call the Hess toys. And it would be Hess trucks and stuff. And because he had a lot of gas stations throughout the United States. And when he died, he put in his will that he gave so much money to his kids. But he told his kids this, and this was a unique thing that he put in his will. You guys cannot have the football team. He said, if any of you decide that you want to contest my will and go after the football team, you lose X amount of money in your inheritance. He said, you didn't want to work in the organization when I was alive for the NFL, for the Jets. So you're not getting the Jets team when I'm dead. So the family had to sell it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Kudos to him. He was truly something special.
Yeah, and I had a couple of those Hess trucks under the Christmas tree. I remember those. Yeah. Got my money.
Yep, he tore them up within 3 months.
Well, I should say you got my parents' money, yeah.
Now, guys, what do you think of the Patriots, 3-4, Terry, and Mr. Belichick?
Well, this is the first time in a long time where they kind of find themselves in the basement of the AFC East. And I'll say it's looking right now like they're not going to make the playoffs. The biggest thing for me is I'm wondering if there's a quarterback controversy going on between Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. A lot of people, there's a lot of talk that this kid might be better than Mac Jones, which I still need to see it to kind of believe it, because I thought Mac Jones was a talent when he was drafted coming out of college. Kind of wanted the Niners to get him, but they got a lot going on. Didn't see this coming, especially since the season they had last year. So we'll have to see how it plays out. I don't know. We'll see how they handle it, especially how Belichick handles it. He's old school, so we'll see what he does.
Brian.
And that's why I'm going to jump in at with Belichick, which I'm very surprised by the confusion that seems to be around this team. Normally, they're kind of organized, and it seemed like he knows what he's doing, but he seems a little indecisive right now. As I said last week before, I said I kind of like the backup quarterback that came in. I seen some things that I did like, but Matt Jones, I think, is getting it's hard to evaluate because I think he's getting somewhat of a raw deal, because he did come off of a good rookie year. And then you had all this confusion with who's going to be the offensive coordinator. And it's not often that you have a team have a defensive coordinator comes in and become the offensive coordinator. And if we go to be frank, the guy who is doing the offensive coordinating most of the time, I guess, if you want to say, was the head coach in Detroit, who didn't do that well there. So it's hard to give Matt Jones a fair shake, because an offensive coordinator trying to build his rookie quarterback is something that needs chemistry and cohesion. And right now, that they just seem a little disorganized for a New England team who normally keeps everything tight.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see them crumble. I'm not going to mince words. If they would never win another game, works for me. They cheated. They ruined other
Allegedly.
There is no allegedly. They burned all the stuff. They burned all the video and audio stuff. So there is no allegedly. They did it. And they were fined. So they did it. They lost draft picks because they did it. So I have no sympathy for the Patriots. I hope they continue to lose. And kudos to losing right now. On to week 8 picks, NFL picks. Yep. Winter's here. Winter's coming. Yep. Denver versus Jacksonville. Terry.
I'm going to go with Jacksonville.
Carolina versus Atlanta. Brian.
Give me Carolina.
Chicago at Dallas. Terry.
Dallas. I hate to say it, Dallas.
Yeah, the kid's gonna be
Miami at Detroit. Brian.
Miami and Detroit. Miami.
Arizona at Minnesota. Terry.
Minnesota. I need Arizona to lose.
Vegas at New Orleans.
Give me Vegas. Riverboat Gambler.
The Raiders.
Yeah. Don't give me the snake eyes.
England at the Jets. 8mm.
Jets.
Steelers at Eagles. Brian.
Why give me that, man?
It's a tough world. Suck it up.
Yeah.
Tell the truth.
Yeah, the truth got to set me free. Go with Philly. Truth to must set me free.
I'm going with the Steelers. Titans at Texan. Terry.
Titans.
Washington at the Colts.
Washington.
Brian.
Washington. I always liked that quarterback they had. I didn't even think they needed to get a quarterback.
They put Ryan on the bench.
Yeah.
Matty Ice.
Not Matty.
Matt.
The other dude. Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Matty Ice.
For the Colts. Matty Ice plays for the Colts. He's been benched this game.
No.
Sunday.
You said Washington.
No, I'm sorry. The Colts put Matty Ice on the bench this game.
And I said I like the quarterback for Washington. The backup.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't like Wentz. That's what I said.
Giants at Seattle. Terry.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Ooh.
Come on, man.
At Seattle, give me Seattle.
Okay. Packers at Buffalo. Brian.
Buffalo. Sorry.
Bengals at the Browns. Terry.
Browns are due for a win. Give me the Browns.
Got all the tough ones. What's up?
Bengals and the Browns.
Give me the Bengals. Browns have not really impressed me.
I'm going to take the Browns since they're not going to have Chase playing, Jamar Chase. Guys, this concludes our program for tonight. Episode 72.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, we say goodnight to all our listeners out there.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have a song to play to say goodnight?
Well, I figure I'd give Tia the last word so he can shout out. Yeah.
Mr. No. Won't do that tonight. But so want to give a shout out once again to Debbie Gamble, Phil Dixon in the chat. Phil, we hear you. We agree with you too. We want Brittany Griner to come home. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Brittany Griner and her family. Mm-hmm. We hope that mercy prevails in this case. So bring Brittany home. Mm-hmm. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, checking out the show. We'll be back next week talking the latest gossip, news, and rumors in sports. So come check us out. We'll be here.
And Debbie, I am not buying them a sub. I'm not buying them that lobster sub.
He's stingy. Yeah,
Yep.
he's tight.
Wait and see what I give them for Christmas. Nothing but coal.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
God bless.